In technology, so technology was one area. So now who are the big players in technology? You would think Apple, Microsoft, they were the big players in technology. That's who we think of today. Back then, this is where Thomas Edison is. He's a big name. Alexander Graham Bell, who creates the phone. And by the way, Bell, which one time we used to know as Bell Telephone back when I was young, became AT&T. So it was the largest communications company in the world. So you have Thomas Edison, great inventor, brilliant man, who I think his teacher said when he was in elementary school, like he should probably be like a truck driver, like he's not intelligent, like he's like actually probably like dumb. And I think they actually have words like, you were not very smart, your parents should get you a hand, something that doesn't take a lot of intelligence. And here's how Edison, brilliant, and really brilliant. They said none of his shelves in his labs were labeled, but he can tell you exactly, go to the 12th row, 12th shelf, 12th row, 3rd row back on that shelf, and get this and bring it to me. There's people that have intelligence like that. Spurgeon had that with books. Al Mohler has that with books. Like 20,000 books, they can tell you where any book is and what's written almost based on any page. That's the kind of smart. A book that we're going to recommend to the church for the series we're doing in Revelation, a guy named Vern Poythress. He was getting his PhD in Oxford in England, and D.A. Carson was a great theologian. They're friends. D.A. Carson went up and saw Poythress in the library memorizing book of the Bible. It's Amos. And Carson says, why? He goes, what are you doing? I'm memorizing Amos. And he goes, why Amos? And Poythress' answer was, because it's the next one. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges. Right? He memorized the whole Old Testament up to Amos. And then Carson said, why didn't you start with the New Testament? And Poythress said, I already did. So he's memorized the entire Bible up through Exodus. And that's when you realize, I'm not very smart. That's a smart guy. These guys know history and literature and art and archaeology. They are brilliant guys. And their ability to recall and have memories. And Edison was like that. I think they said there were 20-some thousand elements in his lab, and he could tell you exactly where everything was. It's just all in here, unlabeled, no labels in front of. Be like file cabinet with no labels. Oh no, it's right there, 5th right back, third in, 4th column. Yeah, just do that. So you have Edison, Bell, and then also Westinghouse. Westinghouse, is sort of appliances and stuff like that. So that was technology. There's some of the giants in technology. Edison, Bell, Westinghouse. And then giants in retail, not many of these guys are around anymore. Wanamakers, John Wanamaker, so I think which is now Macy's. Anybody go to the light show in Philadelphia, I think it's Macy's. There's the village, what is it, the Dickens Village. That used to be Wanamakers, okay, back in the day. It was John Wanamaker. It had the world's largest, I think at one point the world's largest organ in the world. It's massive. Well, Wanamakers is sort of going by the way. And Wanamakers was like the first department store. Like you had everything was there. There were different departments. So you think about a department store for shoes. It used to be a shoe store, a clothes store, a hat store. A department store had it all. And Wanamakers, he was one of the first of that. He was a Christian man, and from what I hear, a pretty fine and consistent Christian man. I don't know him well, I haven't done a biography on him, but he was that. Woolworths was another name. Now probably, I don't even know if there's any Woolworths around anymore, but your parents, you ever remember Woolworths? That was more like a 5 and dime, like a cheaper department store. So that's sort of like Macy's versus K1. Okay. So you can shop at Macy's, that's the department store, so Macy's is still around. Gimbals, they were the big players. Wanamaker was one of the first of them. Gimbals and Macy's became very much bigger than that. And then you had sort of what was a downsize of that, like cheaper stuff. That was Woolworths. So they still had clothes, they still had shoes, but not the same quality. Sort of like, again, a Walmart versus a Macy's today. So you have Wanamaker, Woolworths, Sears, okay, John Sears. And Sears started, and the next one too, Sears and something called Montgomery Ward, they were mail order catalogs. So they were ones, and this is what I used to do for Christmas. See, this is so different. Now you do this all on Amazon. You have like your list, you know, and you know, here's my Christmas list, and you can go on Best Buy, and you can get all these different things, and Bed.com, and you have these registers. And well, in my day, it was the Christmas catalog. It was the Sears Christmas catalog. Big, thick catalog, came home, my dad brought it home, and I'm like, and I fly through all the clothes, toys. And it's circling the toys that I would get out of the Sears catalog. That's one of the ways you shopped. So Sears was known, started as a mail order. Eventually they opened up stores. Now they're closing stores. So you sort of see a generation. It's like Amazon, right? And everybody does Amazon because they hit a niche. Mail order. Just call. eBay sort of was ahead of Amazon, but then Amazon came. And Amazon, I mean, they've just taken over. And so now you see retail stores, they've got to all do online business. If you're not online anymore, you're done. Because everybody's ordering online. And then you just get it shipped. And Amazon comes in and says, we'll do free shipping if you're Amazon Prime, and we'll do this, we'll do that, right? And so Amazon's come out of nowhere in a sense and become massive. Massive. And the big box stores is what they call them in malls. They call the anchor stores. So if you ever go to a mall, you'll see anchor stores. They're usually at the end. Okay, so you go to Moore's, there's the end of the mall. And then there's the court and all the small stores. But they always have these anchor stores. They're the department stores. And if you know some of them, they've closed. You know, it used to be Sears everywhere. They closed. So there used to be 2 Sears just on Route 70, one in Marlton, one in Cherry Hill. So within a couple miles of it, they're both closed. In fact, some strip malls are completely going, you know, they're being bulldozed. Because they can't compete with mail order. Amazon gets it cheap, and gets it to you right away. So how you shop is through Amazon often. Okay? Well, how I shopped was through Sears catalog. Mail order catalog. And that they were getting ahead. That's how they were getting ahead at one point. So they were all, this is sort of the age of the big business, big industry. So we have the big business, industrial business. We also start to have the big retail business starting to happen as well, and then an increase of technology. All right? Okay, next week, we're off next week, right? That's right. No class next week, no homework, so enjoy your break. And then the following week, we'll do labor unions, and you'll have a test that week.